Okay, let's go ahead and get started here with our ninth meeting. I did try to have more video. There's a part two that I'm going to cover with this. Let me go ahead and take the whole screen up here. There's a part two. I couldn't cover it all today. I am going to do a part two, like a short part two. Then I do want to do my yearly video for student athletes and parents. It'll be a separate video. I give you my latest understandings on what's going on in that world. I'll do that for you. People are starting to come in, so I better pay attention. Okay. I thought I would do that also because I have a good number of, a more than average number of student athletes who are paying attention to the program. All right. Okay. Hope you're all having a nice evening. Again, the rules are always the same. Ask questions as we go. That would be great. Just go ahead and speak up or put it in the chat. Brianna's here now. She'll see it. I've also placed in the chat earlier the documents. I'll do it again in just a minute when I see others come. Hey, Brianna, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Can you download those documents to your desktop and then drop them in the chat, maybe?
Sure. And I only stay till 7:30 today, so my apologies.
No problem. Just drop those in, and
Okay.
I expect I'll have Quinn here shortly.
Okay, thank you.
Short of talent today. All right, just in case. Let's start with just in case. She'll drop those in the chat, two documents that we're going to have today to look at. And don't worry, if you don't get them, just email me as always, and I'll be glad to send them to you. Just in case, here's some interesting schools that are still open. I don't know if you saw my video I did on not as many students are going to college now. So we're starting to see the effect of that. So I thought I'd just let you know your last chances to apply to more affordable great colleges. It might not be your last chance, but here we are, March 11th, and there's some open schools. The California State Universities, 12 or 13 are still open. I have it at 11. I think it's 12, though. Maybe 11. 11 are still open at least, including CSUN, Cal State LA, and Sonoma State. Those are high quality CSUs. There'll be a special presentation tomorrow, Thursday. Sorry about that, Brianna. It's Thursday, right? Tomorrow, yeah, tomorrow. Tomorrow there'll be a special presentation at 7 o'clock. We have some RSVPs already. There'll be a lot of underclassmen, but seniors are invited. If your student was admitted to Cal State LA or you know someone who was, it's a great chance to learn a lot about a school that you may be surprised that things are going on that campus. Okay. Grand Canyon University, which is, again, for the third straight year, one of the three best values in the country. It's a great career starting school. It is a Christian school, not overtly or too much so, but it is Christian. But they do a good job. They're Division One, their sports. They do a great job with placing students in careers. Boise State is Boise State is still out there. They're a great friend of ours. Hope to put a couple students there this year. They have a great scholarship for our students. They'll make it cheaper than a CSU. And it's a great Division One school, very exciting sports campus. Virginia State is traditionally black college, is open. Norfolk State and Paul Quinn, also traditionally black colleges. Paul Quinn is a great buy. It's theoretically private, but it's very similar to Grand Canyon, except it's a black school, right? It's predominantly black in Dallas, Texas. Speaking of predominantly black, Charles Drew here in Los Angeles, you can get in very affordably to start preparing for your health science career, radiology and speech therapy and all kind of medical type degrees. Then University of Nevada, Reno, also a great buy. UNLV is not so great, but University of Nevada, Reno, if you can get in, is a great buy. If you have decent grades, they call themselves UC Reno because they're also a research institution. So these are the notable schools that are still open that are affordable. And there are other schools that are open. I could have put here, could have put Morgan State, could have put Delaware State. I could have put Tuskegee. They're having a decrease in applications, but they're a high quality private black college that's very affordable. Of course, it's not urban though, it's out in the rural areas. I just want to tell you about these schools, just in case you're wondering, you've gotten the first notices back and you kind of got an idea what the money's going to look back like. These are schools you might consider. Okay, enroll in a college without visiting? No, don't do that. Parents, don't let it happen. Because if you suggest a school and they don't visit it, if things, I don't know how this works, but when things go wrong at the school, the student's going to say, you did it. Get them on the campus, get them visiting. Say, well, we can't. There's so many colleges. Well, you got to narrow it down at some point. This is what I was telling you when some of you might have had a lot of colleges you were applying to. You know, you want to narrow that thing down. All right, what about virtual visits to campuses? Isn't that the same? No, it's still the same answer. A campus is the people and the organizations, not the buildings. It's not the buildings at all. Let me peek in the chat here, see what's going on. Oh, yeah, there's a lot going on in the chat. Thank you, Brianna. I appreciate that. I think Sister Davis got
No
kicked.
problem.
Appreciate that. Okay, when you visit a school, listen to this. When you visit a school, when your student visits, and you too, parents, I used to take students to visit colleges this year with the uncertainty about the TSA, and flights are going to start getting delayed soon, I'm pretty sure, because we were shut down for Homeland Security. Uh, but when I would take the kids to visit the school for like open house before they decide to go, I always say, parents, you need to go back too. You say, well, I'll go when I move them in. That's fine, but you get emotionally, spiritually, and psychologically committed when you visit a school as a student. And I think as a parent too. When you don't do these things, you don't. So visiting schools is important. Some colleges will give you until June 1st. By the way, I'll cover what you do when you visit in a moment. Some colleges will give you till June 1st rather than May 1st, but May 1st is the usual national decision day. Okay? But there are a couple schools that will go to June 1st. They're advertising it already for you to make your decision to go. I think last year CSU changed at the last minute to June 1st for your final decision. They almost had to. Only wait. I'm sorry. Okay. Let me remove this block here. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Only wait if you're willing to travel to the school. So, you should wait if you're willing to travel. I mean, you can make your decision, but if you're waiting on a school and you're not willing to travel, uh, you know, I don't know. Travel budgets are very limited, so you probably know a lot of high schools are not very helpful in this. They like to think you committed a major crime if you visit a college. And a lot of them are college prep too. Anyway, let's go on. Here's all you need to know about visiting colleges. Brianna, am I being heard okay?
Yes, you can hear you. Yeah, I can hear very well.
All right, good. Let me know if something happens. All you need to know about visiting colleges. Here we go. Remember, colleges are not buildings. I know you're going to say, yes, they are. Well, wait a minute. They're staffs. It's the staff, it's students, and the social atmosphere of the campus. But yeah, what do you see when you go online? Buildings. Only visit during the week on a Friday or Monday, preferably. Only visit when students are present on the campus. No drive-bys and say you visited. You drive by a school and it's at a funny hour, like at night, you decide to drive by. That is a useless visit. And most students will think, oh, that school's dead. It's boring. Don't drive by. Don't consider those visits unless you just want to check the neighborhood. But the school is what you want to look at. Always check in with the admissions office and do the official tour. Also, meet students you know who attend the school. That's a good thing. Meet them on the campus. Have your filters on if they're freshmen. It's funny, freshmen will tell people to visit how much they hate it, and they tell them how much they love it. It's crazy, isn't it? By the time they're at the end of the freshman year, they've settled in, they give you more objective responses. Factor that into what freshmen tell you. Underclassmen generally are a good gauge. Only visited colleges that you could afford. Why visit a college you can't really afford? I mean, it's just like when you go in a store, you probably shouldn't look at too many things you can't afford because you might try to get it. Only visit colleges when they are open. Colleges are people, same thing. Only attend ones you visited and ones you can afford. That's the college you're going to attend. If you're wondering where you'll attend, tell me what schools you visited. You say, "Well, I visited my freshman year of high school." That may or may not be okay. It depends on a lot of factors. How's the school changed? All that. Visit these organizations during your tour for sure. This parents note these, by the way. Career services, leadership development, learning support services, the academic center, student services, honors college, academic departments. These are things you can see after the tour. Ask questions. This is what a visit to a college looks like. Then you want to visit the area around the college. Maybe have a meal near the campus. By the way, if it's safe, some campuses right around them, I don't think I would have my meal there. If you go to DC, get your meal at Hamilton's. Woo! Or Clyde's. It's not too far from the campus, much safer. Although right now in DC, things are pretty safe, what my students tell me. You will not visit all your colleges. Visit as many as you can. It probably be 2 to 3, no matter how many you apply to. No matter how many colleges you apply to, you're only going to have time and money probably to visit 2 to 3 of the schools. Okay? Allow 10 to 14 days prior to the air ticket purchase. When you decide to go, you check, I want to go next week. It's going to be expensive. If you go 10 to 14 days, usually 14, you're going to find a totally different, better price. Okay? If you're a month ahead, man, you cruising. You're doing great. The college enrollment process and its challenges. Well, if you have a rejected application, move on to your other schools. Don't take it personal. Review your career and life goals. It's a good chance to do that. If you had a school you really wanted, you didn't get in, don't take it personal. Okay? Okay, here we go. Appeal if there's something wrong in the admissions process. Other reasons are usually not approved. Something has to be wrong. You might wonder, what does he mean? Okay, more about appeals. Here's an example. Here are examples of wrong appeals. Wrong application. That should say appeal. Boy, I got a few typos to correct here. Wrong appeal, okay? Grades are reported wrong. Suppose you made a mistake reporting your grades, or you gave them a transcript that was wrong. That's a good reason to appeal. Now, if it's just a minor thing, it was an A- and you put a B+, I'm not so sure that that's a grade reported wrong that I would re-report. I mean, but you can do it. When grades are reported wrong, that when they give you the appeal form, they're going to ask you why you're appealing. And they remember, appeals for court are not always accepted. People appeal court cases all the time. They're thrown out. The appeal's thrown out because it's not saying anything's wrong. Good test scores were available. And when you didn't provide your test scores, it was optional. Then you found you had a good score later. You might want to appeal and provide the good score if they're a school that's test optional. I put good in quotes because I have to know the school to tell you what a good score is. Serious error in the transcript. Oh yeah, transcript errors are a winner. It's now corrected. Okay, that's a chance for an appeal. Okay. These are examples of they're examples of good appeals. Or you submitted I know why I put wrong application. You submitted the wrong application. It's basically what these come under. That's not a typo. Wrong student was reviewed. I've seen that. Like there's twins or triplets. They're reviewing the wrong student. Or sometimes a student has the same name. When they give you the letter back, it's a different name. Go, oh, that's not me, that's someone else. Okay? The wrong student was reviewed. That's cause for appeal. So the application's wrong. Your application has to be wrong. Something wrong with it. Requirements change during the review. Sometimes the school requirements change. I can think of a school this year that just did that. Just changed their, I think it's Reed College. They changed a significant thing about their admissions. And I said, oh, there are going to be appeals there. requirements changed, like they changed to allow 2 years of foreign language. I know to allow as a deal. Oh no, to require 3 years of foreign language. And I wondered whether that would be okay when they were saying four before, now it's three. They preferred four. I think there are going to be appeals there. Requirements changed during the review. These are great reasons for an appeal. Again, if there's any questions, you can say them out or put them in the chat, okay? Shout out to anybody. This is your first meeting. I'll say something to you at the end. Appreciate you joining us. There are quite a few people that are joining us today from either friends or online. I got some online from some of the videos I did. I'm glad you're here tonight. More about appeals. How about subjective appeals? You go, man, my son should have got in, or a student says, I should have got in. So-and-so got in, I didn't get in. That's called a subjective appeal. There's no objective reason. It's just a feeling you have, or just you want to appeal based on your passion for the school. Some schools will hear those appeals, but they'll be heard later. They're not going to get back to you right away. It's very rarely approved, only after the decision deadline date. So it'll be after May 1st when they get back to you. It reminds me a lot of the wait list that we'll talk about in a minute. It's kind of like a wait list when you do an appeal subjectively. It will be heard at private colleges only. There's no subjective appeal opportunity for a state college because there's usually state laws at work. But for a private college, they'll listen to it and could reject it right away, the appeal, because it's subjective. Or they could hold on to it till June or July. It's like a wait list. Best chance is at a school that does not make the enrollment yield. So certain schools are not going to make their enrollment yield, but they don't kind of know that. Some of them know now they're not going to get enough students in because they didn't get a lot of applications. I can help you with knowing schools like that. You might be surprised. Some of them are pretty selective. They know now if they're getting enough applications. And those are candidates for a subjective appeal. Okay. What about wait lists? What do you do about wait lists, Collie, if you get waitlisted? I'm going to ask if anybody as a student was waitlisted in just a moment. Be sure to make all deposits for another school. Start planning to go to that school's orientation. So get your mind off the school that waitlisted you. They'll get back to you later and you can decide. But I don't want to see you not getting up. If the wait goes on to after May, I know you think they'll tell you before May 1st. They're not. They're going to wait and make sure they get all the students looked at and reviewed, and just as many as possible have gotten back to them. And again, get an idea of what kind of yield they're going to have. This is going to be a good year enrollment-wise for them. Do not expect to hear positively from the wait list, especially if you're waiting for an appeal too. Sometimes people do both. If you hear positively, it could be as late as June 15th this year. There will be very reduced institutional grants available and scholarships at that point, okay? Probably won't get a scholarship. She'll be exposed to the full cost of the school. So a wait list is really a lot like a rejection. I'm serious. Wait lists can be, listen to this, wait lists can be as difficult to accept as a rejection. It can be. All right? Again, any questions or comments? Let me find out if any, does anybody, any students got waitlisted yet? Let's find out. Anybody got a wait list yet?
And no questions yet.
Anybody wait list? Okay, you have not. Zoe, hi Zoe. Zoe is not. Anybody else? I guess Sister Pittman saying yes. Deferred and wait lists are the same. Very good. Thank you, Sister Pittman. Deferred and wait lists are the same. If you're deferred from early action, you're really going to be considered before May 1st, though. So it's not totally the same. It's not totally the same, because you will actually be looked at seriously. Okay? Whereas in the regular period, if you're turned down, I don't think you'll be looked at before May 1st. But if you're in the early action period, you're deferred. Okay? Yeah, USC said no merit. So the reason why that happened with USC is because if you apply early and you're not accepted early, they put you in the regular period, you theoretically cannot get a merit award. And I think they're holding to that this year. They only want to give merit awards to early action students, and not all of them get a lot of money. USC clearly is one of the worst schools for cost now at this point. And the reasons are I think I did a video on it. They're having financial trouble. Nobody wants to talk about it. Why don't you just Google it? It seems strange, odd that a school with those kind of assets is having financial trouble. But a lot of these private schools are. Okay, let's get back into this. Because that's the story on waitlist. Deferral slightly different, but nevertheless, that's how waitlist goes. Okay, making good time. Let's continue. Here's some admissions acceptance information in case you didn't know. Deposits for admission or registration deposit, quote, they call it that sometimes, is non-refundable. That's going to be a non-refundable deposit. Usually the first three deposits or payments are also non-refundable. Sometimes there's a deposit that's made before you come to the school too. But usually it's just that one registration deposit, then you get an invoice for the rest. There is a thing called a housing deposit. It's mostly non-refundable. So usually it's two parts. It's the deposit to register for the school, the registration deposit, or the admissions confirmation. And that could run, we'll talk about how much in a minute. Housing deposit will also be made. It's non-refundable. You need to make both. It has to be a 1-2 punch because I don't want to see you get in, you can't get housing. And that's why I say the earlier you can decide, the better your housing will be situation. Parent and youth orientation payment, they're going to want that. Now, will they want it at the same time you deposit? Sometimes. Some schools, as you see in a moment, have one price fits for everything. Like it's $1,000 or $800 and it covers everything. The orientations for youth and parent, it covers the housing, and it covers the admission. I know there's a couple schools still, there's a lot of schools, I guess, that still do that. But please deposit for your housing and the orientation right away. Text my wife to bring me, I don't even have my phone now, yikes. All right. Deposit right away, let's see. Some schools like GW and Sonoma State, and there's others, combine the deposits into one super deposit, $800, $1,000. I think Brown University, $1,200. Don't be shocked by that. They put it all in one, but they're not going to give you an invoice for nothing until after you start school. This is an important note that you want to see here. If you're getting like a Pell Grant, well, I'll cover that in a minute. Deposit in two schools should only occur when one is a desired waitlist college, or the student actually has a good chance of getting more money from the school. Say a school is really working on getting you money and they run out of time. It's May 1st, they're still working on it. You may want to go ahead and deposit and hold the spot. They'll also deposit somewhere else because you never know what the money comes back and it's still funny. Okay. I forgot, I've already done a video, but I didn't drop it yet on can I get more money from the school? Is it really, you see everybody's online, TikTok. I see more scams about this. Let me go ahead and say what's on my mind. Do not pay money to these organizations that claim they can get you more money. I attended one of those scam things today to see what they were saying, and it is very inviting. But if they're asking you to pay to get information on scholarships or get more money, do not believe these charlatans. They're out here more this year on TikTok, YouTube than any other year. It's just amazing how many that I saw 8 or 9 over the weekend. If you have any questions about money, college, talk to your boy. Your boy, that's me. I've been doing this, close to 30 years. I believe if I can't answer it, I'll tell you and I'll find somebody who can. But I can talk to you about your options. Okay, here are the initial costs for college that are not covered by financial aid. The admission deposit, like I just told you, is $0 to $800 usually $200 to $300 though, and it's non-refundable. The housing deposit runs anywhere from $250 to $1,800. The $1,800 is an anomaly. That's San Francisco State. Schools that are really short of housing charge high housing deposits. Northridge and San Francisco State, I have to tell you, are short on housing. So if you get into any one of those schools, You probably should deposit early for your housing.
Deacon Wilson,
Yes.
Zoe has a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Zoe.
Hi, Deacon Wilson. My mom has a quick question about asking
Wait. Doesn't have to be quick.
Oh.
no.
Everybody's been saying that today.
Well, I guess, it's relative to the person, I
Okay,
guess.
yeah, okay, go
I
ahead.
know
I'm
you
sorry.
can't help.
We'll say that.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I was told when schools send you the letter as to what they're willing to offer or not offer, that you can counter off acts and let them know that you're not trying to do X, Y, and Z, and to give you their top offer for as finances, be it a scholarship or a continuous scholarship. Is that true?
Like most intelligent people, and you are very intelligent, you have 3 questions in one.
Okay.
Now, it's a free country. You can ask for more money. But I think what I would ask me is, how do you do it?
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you're really going to appeal for more money and it's one of your top schools, I'll admit there is no such thing as a subjective. Every appeal is looked at. But I can help you to structure that appeal because every situation is different.
Okay.
That sounds like another conversation somewhere else.
Yes. Okay. We can have that. Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Did that answer your question?
Oh, we can have a sidebar later.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, we need to, because I'm not going to say you can't. I got to kind of tell you what I would do if I were you, depending on the school you attend, how I would go about it.
Okay. Sounds
You're
good.
going to use strategically things that are going on in that school,
Okay.
and maybe I can tell you something that's going on that you don't know about.
Sounds good.
What school
All right.
was it that we were thinking about that?
UC,
can't remember.
was it UC Davis?
Hey, go ahead and tell me the schools you're thinking about for that situation.
Emory is her top choice.
Uh-huh.
St. Mary's.
Which
offered-
one? Whoa. Which one?
What do you mean? For Emory?
Northern St. Mary's.
In Northern California.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And who else?
Rice, Spelman, Hampton.
Wait a minute.
Spelman, you won't be able to. Spelman's not likely to approve an increase.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
I'm not surprised about that.
But just out of the ones that
It was the
I'm
one her
still
top
thinking
ones.
about.
Emory,
Okay, those are worth discussion. Let's
Yeah.
talk offline.
Davis. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, let's
All
put
right.
it on
Okay.
there.
Okay.
Fine.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Even Davis, there's something you can do. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Got it.
Orientation costs $200 to $500. But don't forget about your travel, right? The first 1 to 2 months of rent. Well, I should go back to this. There's a couple schools that will pay for the travel to the orientation. One of them is Grand Canyon. The other is I'm trying to remember. I didn't even think about that. I just noticed they did doing it this year for the first time. Orientation cost is $200 to $500. The first 2 months of rent, typically you're going to pay before the financial aid award. See, these are costs not covered by the financial aid award. Now, there's a good thing you need to know here. CSUs and UCs and other schools probably will allow reduced income families to waive the housing deposit and to waive a lot of the deposits because they're getting a Pell Grant. It's got to be a Pell Grant family typically. Maybe not a full Pell, but certainly Pell Grant. Okay, and you'll know whether you have a Pell or not when you get the financial aid award after you're admitted. Plan to attend the orientation, please. Don't mistake the yield visit. See, they're going to invite you to visit the campus to decide whether you're going to the school. They call those yield visits. That's not the orientation. You still have to attend an orientation is an event that occurs after you enroll. After you enroll, you'll be invited to orientation. Sometimes you're paying for it during enrollment, remember? Usually it's mandatory for youth and oftentimes for parents. Usually costs $200 to $400 plus travel. Registration for classes begins there. Advisors and departments are visited. Student is usually overnight on the campus, usually. Okay? While you're waiting, okay, I hope that helps, that information earlier. Try not to be stressed. Students on this program that are working closely with me, not even too close, nearly always end up where they will grow and prosper and affordable. And it's affordable. Parents, remember, at the end of the day, it's the student, not the parents who are attending college. But watch how I turn this corner. Students, remember, it's your parents that will pay for college, even if you're fully covered or nearly covered. So they paying for college. So that demands, like I said in my meeting last couple weeks ago to youth. I don't know if you were here, different students. I said that commands should command a great deal of love and respect for your parents and honoring them for what they're trying to do for you. All right, just thought I'd get that in. Check your portals and email 2 times. Are you checking? Especially the schools you don't want to go to, students. You should know how many CSUs you've gotten into, because those are your escape schools. If your school costs too much money, your parents putting you in CSU. I know I would not sacrifice my retirement. And by the way, save your return on investment too, as we'll talk about later. Look for scholarships to cover the indirect costs. That's what you should be doing while you're waiting. You know, I've been just finding scholarships are flying into our program. Go to our website, move the arrow across the top, and look for scholarships. Click on that. We seem to be posting a lot of scholarships lately. Go in there and look at our scholarship list, but look for your own too. Some of them, my webmaster is just searching and finding. She's just running Google and finding them. There's a lot more scholarships out this year than I've seen in a while, by the way. There should be a consensus. Listen to this. Decision on the college. This is college decision, not decision on the college, between youth and parent. In other words, both have to agree. That's what has to happen. Now, if neither one, they can't come to agreement, looks like 2-year colleges in your future. Seriously, I'm just being real. You need consensus, and I can help a consensus to be developed. Just call on me. Important financial aid definitions. What is financial aid? It's student loans, the federal student loan, and the parent loan for undergraduate students. Now, delivered didn't include a certain loan we'll talk about in a minute. Federal Pell Grant, work study. This is your money. Work study, institutional need-based grants, institutional academic, athletic, artistic, or merit awards. So you had the loans and just cash money. Well, it's not cash money. It's money that's paid to the school to reduce your costs. But this need-based money, a lot of it's need-based. The Pell Grant and the work study theoretically are, and the need-based grants obviously are need-based, whereas the merit awards are based on your merit. This is free money. Many people will say they got a free ride to school. In reality, they're paying loans. That's not a free ride. You know, you're just not, and they're confusing people by saying that. Okay? There's very few free rides. Nobody's getting a free ride. Unless even if they're an athlete, the coach is going to make them take out a direct student loan so they can pay for their travel when they're on travel. They'll keep that money in an envelope for the student. So, and even the artistic scholarships too, when they go on travel. There's no such thing as a free ride, I'm telling you. Unless you did Westbridge. Even Posse's not a free ride. That's just covering your tuition. And room and board is getting really expensive these days. What is relevant financial aid? Well, this is where I do it. I listed all the aid I gave before. I crossed out the parent loan, the work study, and that's your relevant financial aid. Notice I kept the federal student loan relevant. Unless you want to pay an extra $5,500, it's not relevant. It's relevant. And besides the fact that if you had only federal loans when you leave college, that's about $250 a month for 3.5 years, and your loan's forgiven. The rest is forgiven. That's a federal law. But you got to keep all your payments. Okay, so that's relevant financial aid. Students should not plan to work the first year in college. But I say that, and students still do, and they always get an academic. I had one last year that did that, got an academic. Now this year, or this semester, he's straight A's, not working. In fact, he got involved in student activities and didn't seem to bother his grades. I don't like to see students working the first year. That's why I took the work study off. Not making no money anyway on federal work study, what, $8 an hour? In case you're interested, here's why work study is not relevant. It's so small, there's just a little bit of spending money. I mean, parents, you can send them 30, 40 bucks a week, drop it in their account, that's spending money. Students can make way, well, they want real spending money is to get a scholarship, and those small scholarships go a long way in spending money, okay? Students can make way more for less hours at other jobs if they got to work. EEP does not recommend students work the first semester. I said semester here, I really think year. Priority is to meet lots of students. Got to meet people. Some will be your future roommate. How you know? The more time you can bond with the campus your first year, the more likely you are to finish college. Parents, if your students are not here, don't worry. This video will be available in about 18 hours online. I'm going to go through and do some editing on it, of course. Other important financial aid definitions. What is direct cost of a college? It's the college costs that are on the bill or are fixed costs. So it's not books, it's not travel. Stuff that's on the bill. What's on the bill? Tuition and mandatory fees, housing, and food. You got to eat. Food, housing, and tuition and fees. Those are the direct costs of college. I mean, they're on the bill. Health insurance, if elected. Sometimes students just keep the insurance of their parents, so it would not be a direct cost. What is indirect cost? You got it. Books, travel, spending money, technology. I'm going to make sure you have that understanding. So I'm going to talk a lot more about direct costs because no one ever stopped out of school because of indirect costs. Oh man, these books are so expensive. I got to stop college. It's going to be the direct cost. But these indirect costs can usually be paid by just even a very small third-party scholarship to take care of your travel and your spending money. Okay. By the way, as an exclusive for those that are in this session, if you're hearing this on video later, sorry, I have a wonderful scholarship for students that are going to public school. And I thought I would have more candidates, and they tend to pick 2 students from our program a year. And it's a good scholarship. If you are interested, I need to get an email from the student, from your student. And they can look over the requirements because there's a few things they'll have to do to apply, and they have to be done in the next 3 weeks. But I want to make sure we have enough good students applying. Our students need to be 3.4 or above for the first 3 years. Well, to go through the first 7 semesters. Okay. That's exclusive offer to those that are in this Zoom meeting right now. Okay, relevant financial aid. What will I owe for college? So you have the concept of relevant financial aid, which is the direct student loan and institutional grants and scholarships. That's the direct federal student loan, okay? There's another loan we'll talk about in a minute. Minus the direct cost. That's how you figure out what you owe for college. You get your relevant financial aid, you add up those, which is the direct student loan, federal student loan. I'll teach you how to recognize it in the next view graph. And institutional grants and scholarships. Now I'm going to show you what a financial aid award looks like. Then I'm going to show you one from a couple of years ago that I like to use all the time. It's like 3 years old, but you'll get it. A negative amount means that you will owe money for college. So if you don't have enough money and the direct cost is more, you get a negative, that's what you're going to owe for college. You divide it by 2, that's how much you're going to pay each semester. This view graph is the quickest way to understand how to read the financial aid award. Here's what a financial aid award will look like for a typical private college. Notice the division between fall and spring. Let's look at the labels over to the, I should have my board here. I guess I can't do it right now. Maybe. No, I'm not going to do it. You guys can see that. So the federal direct student loans, subsidized and unsubsidized, are there. They're gonna award you that whether you ask for it or not. It's an entitlement grant. You get it regardless. Okay. Academic Merit Award in this case was $25,000, $12,500 per semester is the allocation. Welcome back, Sister Denise. University grant was $5,500. Hi there, first semester for $1,100 in university grant. Typically, that's like need-based aid provided by the college. Other grants are here. This is a typical selective college, private college financial aid award. So it's $63,000 in, looks like relevant financial aid because I don't have work study on here and I don't have a parent, oh, I do have a parent loan. So there's 20,000. There's a reason I showed that 20 though. So even with the parent loan for 20,000, which I remind you is the maximum parent loan that a parent can take out, this student is going to owe $29,600 for the year and $14,800 per semester. And I can tell you your options for making that up very shortly. Okay, so this is what a financial aid award looks like. So I figured if I showed you one for a selected private college, you'd know how to apply it to, CSU and UC. They're a lot easier to do. Okay, let's go on. So here's one from ABC University 2022-23. You might notice the tuition, room and board and fees is a little low. Yeah. Look how much the room, food and meals are, $4,400. We haven't been that low in a long time. This is during the pandemic. You can see the total financial aid awards about $23,000 per semester. And you can do the worksheet here and figure out, because the cost of the school, as you can see, is like $12,300, so it's $24,600 for room and board, right? Well, this example is totally not. So in this make-believe example, there's way more financial aid than there is college cost. So in this example, they would have more than enough money for college. This is the kind of thing that was happening for students with a lot of need basis. As late as 21, things have really changed. Okay? But I want to get you used to looking at a financial aid award. I'm going to do a separate video to go into more detail on how to read the financial aid award. That'll come out probably Saturday or Friday night. So why do we have federal loans for college? Before I do that, I have another video about loans I need to show you. Stand by. Okay. I did a video on this, but a lot of you may not have seen it, and I want to actually take some time to cover it here. There's been a big change with students and parents' loans for high school class of 26 and 27. So you're 26. It was not this way last year. It's way different. Usually I don't cover things when they're different. I just say, here's the way it is. But I got to do that in this case because people may see this video, or you parents may remember for another student you had, it was different. So I better really make sure I cover this. Now, I've covered this once from another standpoint, talking about return on investment. We spent a lot of time with that about 4 weeks ago. But I'm going to come at it a different way here. Here's how student loans used to be. Suppose the college is $94,000. That's a typical selective private college. Probably very similar to Emory, by the way. Family income is assumed to be $90,000 plus in this example. Let's say the grants were $42,000, which is very generous. Now you owe $52,000 for college. Under the old way, prior to class of 2026, the parents usually would take out a federal loan for $46,500, and the student would take out a federal loan for $5,500. So that's how the loans were split. Most of the weight going to the parent. Okay, so we didn't say a lot of things to students about loans. We felt the $5,500 a year or a little less, that's a loan they could afford when they get out of college. It shouldn't be a problem. Certainly a difficult situation, this situation here, $46,500 in parent loan, one where the parent is taking on nearly all the responsibility. Now the change occurs this year. Here's how it was before in picture form, okay? This is the way it was before. I want you to get, here's a picture of it here. By the way, this document, I'll throw it in the chat in just a minute again. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the three types of loans here. Well, three types of awards. Here's the situation we just described. In the pink is the merit scholarship. the parent loan for 46.5, and the student loan, just the way it was before. That is a federal student loan. That's the way things were before. Okay. So basically, you were spending $22,000 in 4 years for student loans, and the parent would be $182,000 in loans when the student finished. If they finish in 4 years, right? If it takes longer, then it'd be more. That was before. Now, how are they now? Same thing. 94,000, income's 90,000, grants are 42. You now owe 52. Under the new way, beginning with 26, the parents usually would take out a federal loan for 20,000 maximum. So the parent loan is maximum $20,000, and the student would take out a federal loan, direct federal loan for 5,500, and a private loan for 26.5. Certainly a difficult situation, but in this one, the student is taking on nearly all the responsibility. So students, when you say you want a certain school, this new system, you're taking on responsibility. That means that's a loan you're going to have to pay off. Let's look at it graphically. Merit scholarship, 42,000. Parent loan, 20,000. That's the most parents can take out a loan for. That's the maximum. Student loan, 5,500. People getting kicked out, I guess so. Student loan is $5,500. And the alternate student loan, which is a private loan, is $26,500. What does that mean? It means that for 4 years, it's going to be at least $135,000, but that's a student loan. I've included the federal loan in there. These are student loans. We had tables last week that said that's about $1,700 a month, $1,500 to $1,700 a month, which they'll have to pay if they're not living at home. It's going to probably you'll probably have them stuck at home for a while because there's no way they can in California afford that. Which is why you got to be careful where you get your majors from, what schools. That was the discussion we had a couple weeks ago. You can get that video and take a look at that, parents, if you want your student to do that. The maximum parent loan for 4 years is $65,000. $20,000 a year plus $5,000 for the 4th year. That's it. That's all parents can do. Okay, so that's how loans work now. I want to be sure that we have a good understanding of that. Okay. All right, let's see if there's any questions in here. Got a kind of.
No new questions.
Oh, you're here.
Yes, I stayed because I just wanted to make sure that you had
You
support.
felt sorry for me.
No, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, you did. No, that's okay.
I have a question, Deacon Wilson. I
You
didn't
go
type it.
right ahead. Who's this?
This is Sonia. Sonia
Oh
White.
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you're not
Malachi.
affected by any. You're not affected by any of this, but go ahead.
Well, kind of,
No, you're not.
Well, I have a question because Malachi got into Sac State and he got a letter after the fact saying that they received his FAFSA and that once he applies, that he needs to apply so that they can award him to see if he can be awarded, a financial aid package once he's accepted.
Oh
So-
wait. Has he been accepted for admission?
Yeah.
Well, then the financial aid award. That's it. He has to accept the financial aid award, though.
No, but they're saying they received his FAFSA, but they're acting as if he hasn't applied yet.
Oh, you need to call them up.
So that's just an
Call the
error.
financial aid's office up. Tell them, hey, y'all just said you didn't get my financial aid and FAFSA, and my FAFSA says it went to you. What's the deal?
Okay. All
You might
right.
be surprised at their answer. It happens every year.
Okay. All right.
They might
Just
say,
look.
that's a mistake. Ignore that.
Okay. All right.
And then you get to ask them, when will he be awarded his financial aid? What date?
What date? Okay.
They should already have that out if they've admitted him.
Yeah.
But they say he didn't get it. I don't remember. I filed about 155. Did I file that one?
I
remember.
think so. Yeah, I think so.
I did. Or
Oh,
did
they
you file
received it. No, I got. We have confirmation that it was received.
Oh,
They
okay.
said they said they received it. They
Okay,
said
good. I just want to be sure. Okay.
application. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I would challenge them.
Okay.
They might not talk to you though.
I know.
You only
I'll
want to
call,
talk to
I have
him.
call with him.
which is, never mind. But guess what? They'll take your money. Y'all hear that? I hope the parents are hearing that. They'll be glad to take your money paying on the bill, but they don't want to talk to you about anything else. Oh, God. Okay, let's finish up here. All right.
Deacon Wilson.
Go right ahead. I'm listening.
Is there a reason that they changed how much money parents can take for loans?
Oh, I never had anybody ask me that, but I'm so glad you asked. Wow, I'm glad. I think it was pressure building over the huge default rate on parent loans. Because did you know half the defaults are parent loans?
Oh, interesting.
What's the default?
It's very interesting, isn't it?
Stop pay. Yeah, that's interesting that they don't pay.
And they count them as student loans. So you hear the student loan default rate, they're including parent loans. But when you dig into the numbers, parent loans are 57% of the defaults. So one way to deal with it is start making people think about the loans for college. And they think the student will think about it more. They will.
So Deacon Wilson, I'm curious if you know, you may or may not know the
Who's
answer.
this? Who's this?
This is Nedra.
Now go ahead, Nedra.
Okay, so with like kids that want to be doctors and they go through medical school, I've heard that
I know where we're going with this already.
yeah, I've heard a lot of those medical loans are not paid back. Do you have?
Oh, yeah. I thought you were going a different way. Yeah, that's another huge. So master's degrees and postgraduate degrees are the second most default. Did you notice I haven't said student loans yet? Student loans are not a high driver. The media covers it wrong all the time.
Okay.
You got to watch the media. So yeah, there's a lot of default rate on doctors. In fact, I know most of y'all don't like the current administration. They're reforming and making it easier for doctors to be covered by low interest loans. This is in the best interest. It's a national security issue.
But
Don't you think having doctors and nurses are national security?
Yeah, but didn't they change that nurses are not?
No. You should see my video on that.
Okay, I'm gonna have to, because I want to say they changed my career as well. Me being an LCSW.
Oh, that's another whole thing. But I will say this, that like any other undergraduate, they're getting the same loan situation as every other undergraduate.
Okay.
Now we can talk about postgraduate right now. There is currently, if they ever get this government, it's bound up right now with the DHS thing, they'll pass legislation that will make medical careers no interest loans, and they'll put pressure on the medical schools. Well, already there's some low cost, high quality medical schools. I put one up today, Charles Drew.
Oh.
Charles Drew's a great place to get a nursing school. See, the problem is everybody wants to go to a name school. That's the problem.
So Deacon Wilson, in regards to like doing hardship letters for them to come and review.
Not hardship.
What is it called?
More grant, appeal for more money. So
Okay.
that's why we're going to have that meeting, aren't we?
Yes, that's another reason why we're gonna have the meeting.
It's the
Yes.
same thing, actually. You're trying to get more money from the institution.
Okay, yeah. Okay, because things have changed. Okay. All right.
But there's I'm seeing a lot more this year, people saying they can guarantee you get money back from schools. I know what's going on in these colleges now. It's pretty rough on some of them. Depends on the school. Now, I heard Emory earlier. There might be a potential target.
Oh, and you know what about Emory? For
Is it Zoe?
yeah, that's me. I saw something about them trying to do a free tuition for students that have where their parents make 200,000 or less.
Oh, you need to see my
right,
yellow.
and that's how like a lot
Yeah.
of people wanted to go to Emory. I mean, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
They
until way
didn't
later.
offer it to you. They didn't do that for you, did they?
I haven't gotten it back.
The answer is no. Will you accept it? Will you accept it?
I haven't seen it yet. They haven't told me. I have to wait till April.
Okay, so look at my Yale video. A lot of schools are offering saying, hey, free tuition below 200,000. There's like 5 or 6 major schools. Yale did it first and 4 others. You need to look at my video and see how that works. I have a video on are they really doing it?
Yeah.
Check my
that-
videos out, y'all. They're not too long. I
Okay.
promise.
All right.
Because I can't do everything in the meetings. That's why I do the videos.
Right. Okay.
Just go over to my site. Why don't you subscribe while you're there, Zoe, and listen to that video. And just put the name of Emory in every time you hear Yale.
Okay. I'll have to take a look then.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I think I beat that to death, didn't I? Yeah. Yeah, I did. Okay. Why do we have loans is an interesting question. Need-based and federal state grants plus merit scholarships are considerably less than the direct costs. That's why we have loans, right? You're getting this much money. It's free money, but then there's this gap here. That's going to be filled in by dollars plus student and parent loans. Okay. That's why we have them, because the red is not tall enough to cover the tuition, fees, room and board, direct cost. Go down, stretch run here on this. Controls. Okay, here we go. Okay, let's go on. Let's see. Here's a loan example for HBCU. It's from line 11A of the 2024 tax return. It's that line, by the way, is the adjusted gross income. That's what it's based on, 50,000 adjusted gross income. This is what we expect on an HBCU. Look at that. All of it's going to be loans. Please understand that. That's the way it's going to be. It's going to be loans. Now I'm going to run through these view graphs. Remember, we talked about the breakdown of the loans on the other view graph. Here's one that's less than $40,000. You can see there is a little more, there's Pell Grant and other need-based grants are in there, right? Only one HBCU, maybe 2 even does need-based grants, but it's going to be mostly the Pell, right? Pell Grant. And then you cover with loans. There's CSU for $60,000. You can look through these on your own. Above 60,000, you're pretty much going to be doing loans for the cost of CSU. Now, that's not totally true if they pass. If Sacramento passes the middle class grant, that may not be true. You may get $6,000 or $7,000, up to $105,000, I think it is. Okay, so I'm gonna go on. You can go through these examples. I want to really get to the end. Please go through them. Here's what's this? Private college we've talked about to death, haven't we? You're usually going to pay 19 to 35,000, depending on your academic performance. 3.9, yeah, 19 to 35,000. Of course, your GPA is lower and you get in. You're going to pay more per year. We've talked about that before too. See, they really rely only on merit scholarships, right? And then you're going to do loans for the rest. All right, what will happen at orientation? We talked about orientation. Students will learn about the campus, and it's mandatory for CSU and UC. Listen closely. If you do not attend the orientation for CSU or UC, they will disenroll you. You must attend orientation. Every year, a family of mine goes on family vacation during the time of orientation, and when they come back, they find they've been disenrolled. Just try to remember that if you pick UC or CSU. They'll learn all about campus life, residential life, and residential agreement. I'm going to say more about these in the run-up to our life confirmation ceremony, which I will explain next meeting. Food, campus activities and orientations, organizations, social opportunities, academic departments in life. You meet some professors, and course registration begins. You meet your advisor. These are all things that happen at orientation. Parents, what about you? You'll learn about how to pay. You'll learn about parent organizations, health services, deadlines for payments, cash payment options, and parent loan direction. So it's all about finding out, knowing about how to pay. Isn't that funny? And that's why some colleges make it mandatory. What do I need to know about housing? Here we go. Process steps. Deposits. Please deposit not later than the campus decision day. Some schools, if you know early, please deposit. They have a shortage in housing. I don't want to see your student in an apartment across town or something. Students sign residential agreements. Now, some schools, that's not so bad. It's right across the street. For other schools, it's a problem. Like San Francisco State, you're going to be across the bay. You won't find anything affordable in San Francisco. Deposits not later than the campus decision day, students sign a residential agreement. That's a key moment. You'll find about that. There's a lot of things in that residential agreement, students, that might surprise you. We'll cover that in another meeting. You pay your first housing payment. Most time it's prior to the financial aid even crediting on your account. It's way prior to that. You got to make a payment on your housing. First payment usually. Sometimes it's just a deposit, because if you're getting a Pell Grant, that is give you a small deposit, you're okay. Sometimes this is a high amount of money, that first housing payment. Sometimes. Monthly dorm payments begin when the financial aid runs out. So if you have your financial aid covers 60% of your costs, 70% of your costs, well, you'll feel like you have free rent for 4 or 5 months. Then that 6th month you got to pay because your financial aid runs out. Same thing happens the second semester that happens the first. You start out having a lot of money, paying your rent, then all of a sudden you owe. This gives you time to get employment or for your parents to get the rest of the money together. If financial aid fully covers the school costs and the PLUS loan covers everything else, say you get a parent loan, not true anymore. Say you get a parent loan for CSU, you don't have to do anything else. But if it's a parent loan for private school, you'll have to get your loan to make that statement true, but there's no payments remaining. What about food? It's usually paid for at the same time as housing. Generally, the options are 7, 14, or 11, 7, 14, sometimes 11, or 21 meals per week. You think you're going to eat 21 meals a week. Nope. When you go away, students, you're going to be grazing somewhere between 7 and 14. So you can start low and just buy more options, right? Start at 7 and then go up. You might find out you're only having one full meal and you're grazing the rest of the day. Students will not sit down for 3 meals. I'm going to cover these later too. Students will not sit down for 3 meals per day. Meals that are not used are lost for good. And you start over again the next semester. So that's why when I visit, this is funny. When I visit students like late in the semester, visit the campus, I'm getting a lot of free meals. You know what I mean? Free lunch in the cafe, free dinner in the cafe, because they got to use those food credits up. Many campuses have other eating options on campus or off, by the way, sometimes off campus, where they can either use their food card or get the meal way reduced. Get that off campus too. Recommendation, pick 7, 11, or maybe 14. You can add dollars. Okay. What do I do about class registration? Now I'm covering this stuff now. This is one of those things I cover, then I come back to again. Okay, but I want you to start thinking about these things. Because some of you, when you get in the school you want, you'll deposit. I want you to know what's going on. The registration process begins at orientation. There may be some parent frustration with that. How to do classes, I'll cover that later in a parent meeting I'm gonna have. Students learn how to register, but they often forget. Smiles. Treat your advisor like an advisor. See, your advisor may reach out to you early, like right after you're admitted, but they're not your life director. I'll be giving a lot of guidance. Like, for example, here are the classes that I've noticed students have done well in the first year. Art history, intro to Soc, intro to psych, world and American, intro to art. These are general ed classes anyway, you'll have to take. You just come to the orientation with those on your list and you patiently wait for them to open after you leave. That's all you got to do. Okay. Here's a typical first year schedule. Intro to writing, intro to university life. All schools have that. Upper level math, if it's engineering student, biology or chemistry, it's pre-med. Intro to business, if it's business. If it's undeclared major, they'll give you some liberal studies course, or they'll let you pick one, right? But there'll be some kind of a specific course. This typically will add up to about 16 credits, believe it or not, magically. Okay. General ed courses, I talked about those earlier. You're going to take 16 to 18 credits. Here it is listed out. I put question marks for the elective. Okay, I'm going to cover this later, but let's do some alphabet soup and we'll be almost done. SAP, I want you to know that term, parents and students. Satisfactory academic progress. Students must have a cumulative of 2.0 and 12 credits per semester. Sometimes they start off with 17 credits and drop 2 classes. They end up with 11, and now they're on probation even though they're 3.0. 75%, you got to make progress towards your degree. You have to be making at least 75% progress at any moment towards your degree. It's a frequent one that athletes have trouble with. What happens if the SAP is not reached? You go on probation. Hopefully your cumulative will be 2.0 when you're done. After stop out, 95% will not return to campus. And upcoming sessions, May through June, I'm going to help students with how to keep off probation, how to do well in school. I have a great speaker to cover that. She'll show you how to study, how to get ready for these professors. It'll be very humorous. I hope students can make it. I'll advertise it heavily. FERPA, Alphabet Soup, Family Education Rights and Privacy Act. Okay, parents, listen to this. The Family Educational Rights Privacy Act, FERPA, 20 U.S.C. 1232G, et cetera, Part 99, is a federal law that protects the privacy of student education records. Oops. The law applies to all schools that receive funds. All right, so what does it say? In K through 12, parents, you own the records. What you said goes. In college, your student owns the records. I have a lot more to say about that. That's why I was telling Sister White earlier, they're not going to talk to her. She knew what I meant too. She didn't even question it. Because I think she'd been down that road before. Am I right, Sister Sonia? She's been down that road a couple times down that road with the cut in it.
I certainly have.
The students, listen to this, y'all. Students own the records, but the parents pay. So the solution to that, students, is transparency. You're open. When you come home for Christmas, you show them your grades. These are your investors. Before the FAFSA is submitted, parents, I wouldn't submit the FAFSA until I see the grades. More on that later. Colleges will say the student can waive the FERPA for grades, and then you can see their grades, but grades are not, listen to this, but the grades aren't available till March or April. So you won't know till March or April what happened the first semester, unless there's transparency and students know to show you their grades. You know I'm have a lot more to say about that. Then there's HIPAA. Boy, that is wrong. It's health insurance something, I don't know. That's not family. I got to correct. Oh, here it is. Health Insurance Portability Accountability Act of 1996 is a federal law that requires the creation of a national standards to protect, listen to this, sensitive patient health information from being disclosed without the patient's consent. So the student's health record will be closed to you, parents, on the campus. Again, transparency. If they go in there needing prescription drugs and they get into trouble and need help, who's going to help? Mom or dad. But the health records belong to them. So it's easier for them to waive that and let you look than it is for the FERPA to be waived. Students own the health records. Parents pay. Here we go again. Students own the records, but the parents pay with insurance, right? Student transparency is needed big time. Medications, mental health issues, student involvement. There are a lot of ways that parents can actually help. HIPAA, I say here, HIPAA cannot be waived, but actually the dorm leaders will waive it. There's some kind of loophole where they can waive it, but the school can't because they're in a residence with your student. Okay, so that's all I have, believe it or not. And I'll take any remaining questions. I'll be glad to take any of those right now.